Hi, I'm Christian Brindle with Christian Brindle Insurance Services.
And I'm Glenn Shelton with Lead Heroes and Hire Heroes.
And this is Taco Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Let's talk about insurance. This is a show all about growing your business as an insurance agent and bringing you up-to-date marketing trends. We have great guests.
We have sales experts. We'll talk about all things pertaining to senior insurance and other lines of insurance. We're trying to help you grow your business, and we are excited that you are here to watch our content.
If you enjoy this episode, make sure to like the episode. Subscribe to any platform that you enjoy to listen on. Make sure to leave a 5-star review if it allows it, and we'll see you on the episode.
We'll see you in there.
What's up, guys? I don't know what's happening.
Or direct mail.
Which one? They're
Which
gonna
one?
they're gonna face off today.
Ah!
Guys, I will be watching Karate Kid 3 tonight. Very underrated. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yes.
Welcome to Taco Tuesday. Let's talk about insurance. I am Christian Brindle. And
I'm Glenn Shelton.
And we're here to talk to you guys about really a topic that came up the other day in the Facebook group. Thought it was an interesting one. Direct mail marketing in the Medicare senior insurance space or telemarketing, right? And kind of what's the pros and cons to each, which one is better per se. And my co-host happens to be a legitimate expert on telemarketing, has experience in direct mail. So I wanted to just start off by kind of handing it off to you, and I'm happy to provide my thoughts. But
Christian, you can go ahead and turn your camera off for this episode. I think I'll just go ahead and take over. There we go. All right, you guys, welcome to Taco Tuesday, Glenn Shelton edition. Solo host.
Solo
show, yeah. I just messed up my mic now. Okay, hopefully you can still hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting topic, and I think it's one of those questions that it has come up over and over. At one point, for those of you who might not know, some of you do, we were actually doing both at Lead Heroes. You know, if you don't know, I own a company called Lead Heroes, primarily focuses on telemarketing, taking a caller who calls old leads, create someone who's re-interested in having a conversation with an agent, right? Oh, I still am interested in this. So that whole process compared to a direct mail lead where thousands of flyers go out, someone reads one, they fill it out, drop it back in the mail. Those are the two different things that we're comparing today. And at Lead Heroes, the company that I own, we've actually done both. As an agent, I've sold insurance using both. So I do feel pretty qualified to have this conversation today. And I don't think it's necessarily, I'll kind of preface whatever happens, in case I do go on some sort of rant and absolutely burn down lead concepts or something like during this conversation. Just kidding. Chris, I'm just kidding, Chris. I know you're backing up. Uh-oh. Oh no! No, I will preface this conversation by telling you guys, I think diversification is a great thing. Most companies diversify their marketing. They don't go all in on one thing. I think that's the best route. Even if you love what we do at Lead Heroes and you love telemarketing, I still wouldn't say go all in on one thing. Figure out a couple different strategies that work and fund all of them. So, if you read my book, which I've got right here. Oh, whoa. Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
Screenshot.
So
There it is, guys. End scene. End episode. I actually, there's a section in here where I talk about this very thing specifically. It's chapter 3. And we actually even had like a table that we created that was comparing like average cost. These numbers are probably old now as far as cost goes or commission, etc. So I wouldn't say that the numbers are necessarily exactly the same here in 2023, but we did talk about this exact thing in the book that I helped author. So that being said, let's get into it. What is better? Question: what's better? Direct mail or telemarketing?
Okay. All right. So really putting me on the spot here. So I've done a
What's better, Christian?
I've worked a tremendous amount of both over the years.
Yes.
The first telemarketed lead I ever worked was 2020 from you, good sir. That was the first time I ever worked a telemarketed lead. I probably worked direct mail leads since 2017, 18, something like that. Maybe even before that, but that, I was working aged 5-year-old ones at that point, just like, here you go. Here's a lead. I'm like, oh, this is great. It's 5 years old.
Wow.
They're dead. So I think if I had $1,000 to spend and I wanted the highest ROI possible now in 2023, I would go telemarketing because I can get more volume, I feel. Direct mail, the volume has become a problem. I've never had a problem with the quality. I would actually probably argue, if you're talking quality on a per lead basis, like if you gave me one lead and I had to make a sale or I was going to be killed brutally.
Oh my God, that's a game. That should be a game show right there.
give me the direct mail lead, because I feel like the intent is the thing about direct mail lead and the intent is the person took the time, picked up the card, wandered around their living room looking for a pen. They fill out their information. They take that time. Maybe their pen dies. They throw it away. They go find another one. They put it in the envelope. They lick it, seal it, walk it out to the mailbox, slip it in. Like there's there's a lot more intent about it. But nowadays you're looking at $50, $60 a lead, maybe more. When you're breaking it down on a cost per lead basis. So it depends on the conversation. I think if I had one lead and one lead only, and it's between the two, I'd pick direct mail. But if I had $1,000 to spend and I wanted the greatest ROI possible, I'm going to go with telemarketing because I think I'm going to get more of a volume of leads. And I feel like the volume game, and I feel like the telemarketed leads, not to say that the quality of them isn't good. They're actually very good. It's just I'd give direct mail a slight edge there, but I think overall I would go telemarketing leads because I think you can get them at more of a bulk than you can direct mail these days. Like I think years ago, in certain places, you could drop 1,000 pieces of direct mail and get 3-4% back. You're just not seeing that anymore. Like you're lucky to get 0.5% back in some markets, and that's a gut punch. Like you get 0.5% back and it's 1,000 pieces of mail, you're getting 5 leads. But you spend
that puts your what's your cost per lead on $90 per lead? $100
$100 a lead. $100 a lead in that scenario.
You're paying $100. So even if the direct mail lead, let's say it has twice the intent. Yeah. Let's say it is significantly better lead. If you're looking at the costs at that standpoint, let's say you're able to generate that telemarketing lead for $20 to $30, which again, at Lead Heroes, we literally can do that for you, $20 to $30 all day. That means it's somewhere between 3 and 5 times less in cost. So even if it's double the intent from a financial standpoint, there's really no argument that says direct mail is better. And that's always like from day one when I started Lead Heroes, you guys, this was the exact argument I stood behind. But okay, well, let's look at the cost per lead. Even if direct mail is twice as good, your ROI is almost guaranteed to be higher.
Right.
And that's my argument for telemarketing. That's why I've always loved telemarketing. That's why I built a company that does telemarketing, is because of that math that we just did together right there.
Yep. I mean, and I think that's really what it comes down to it for me. Like, if you asked me this question 3 years ago in 2020, when I first started working telemarketed leads myself with my company, I probably would have said direct mail by a little bit, because you could get 1.5% response rates. You could get 2% response rates pretty normally, pretty, consistently. And I just felt like the difference in the quality was, the edge. And even if it's a little bit more per lead, even still, maybe you'll have a higher ROI. Nowadays, it's just not the case, and even back then I would have given it a slight edge. If any of you watched 2020, I did a series of lead review videos on this channel. I reviewed Lead Heroes. I reviewed multiple direct mail companies and multiple lead companies in general. And I gave just a slight edge to Lead Concepts at that time. Not to say Lead Concepts isn't good now. Lead Concepts is a great company, and they're doing like Facebook leads now. They're doing a bunch of different things that aren't direct mail. But I think if we're just talking about direct mail versus telemarketing as a whole, I think you can just get the volume that you need. And I don't think the quality is off a cliff in comparison. And I think when you factor all those things in, you're probably going to be able to make more money.
Here's the second piece of the argument for me too is, well, how are you selling the lead? Are you planning on selling over the phone? If you're planning on selling over the phone, that telemarketed lead, the phone number works because the call center just spoke to them.
Disconnected.
They just spoke to him.
Right.
That direct mail lead might not have a phone number. They might write the wrong phone number down. They might give you a phone number that they don't actually answer, or
they might send a blank card back in. I get one of those once in a while.
Yeah. So if you're trying to sell over what a huge disadvantage that is comparatively. Now, if you're selling face to face, it kind of changed. I think it does swing towards direct mail a little bit, especially if you're door knock. It's a really powerful thing to show up on someone's doorstep holding a piece of mail. And again, I've done this. I know Christian's done this. When you're standing on someone's doorstep and you're holding a piece of mail and you're like, is this your signature? And you just jam it right in their face, right? I can't tell you how many times I used to love it, because there were those people that they were like, ooh, this is something I have to buy. This is the salesperson. But I'm just like, hang on a second. Boom!
Open up, Dorothy.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, that's my comment. And it's a huge, it gives you such an easy hurdle over that initial barrier of getting into someone's house, getting through that door. And you can't do that. Now, I haven't personally done this. I've heard of agents who will play the phone call at the door and to someone's face if it's a telemarketed lead and they're in denial. They're like, I never got a call. I don't want to talk to you. And they're like, boom, this is you saying you wanted to talk to somebody. I've never done that, but I guess you could do that in theory as well. I just like the paper in the face. That's really powerful.
I've never done that on someone's doorstep. That's pretty bold. I have done it over the phone though.
You've never done the direct mail?
No. I've done that, but I've never done it with the playing the recording for the telemarketed lead.
Yeah, I've never done it face to face.
I have played it over the phone for somebody though. I'll be like, I a line that I've used that seemed to work pretty well. I'll be like, Dorothy, I actually have a phone call recording of the conversation that you had 2 hours ago with one of our reps. Would you mind if I played it for you so you could verify the authenticity? And I play it, and she's like, and most of the time they're like, oh yeah, I guess I do remember that. I'm like, you always did. We all know.
Well, and that's like, regardless of what type of marketing it is, like I used to also door knock Facebook lead. Like when Facebook leads first became a thing with Final Expense, I remember door knocking and holding like an image of a Facebook lead, So like you can anything to help jog their memory so that way they remember. I think that's important. But overall, I think the bottom line is I think telemarketing is more efficient. And especially if you need a working phone number to talk to someone and you're just talking about pickup rates in general, people picking up the phone, they're so much more likely to pick up the phone if they just talk to someone at a call center
Yes.
versus a direct mail lead. And Facebook leads, that would be my same argument there. I know we're not talking about those, but if you were to include Facebook leads, the contact rate is usually pretty low. They usually don't answer the phone.
Yep.
That's just the nature of the business.
I think that's pretty cut and dry. I agree with everything.
That's ball game, Chris.
Whoa.
I'm teasing. Chris Weir is awesome, you guys. I love Lead Concepts. So like I said, at one point we were doing both at Lead Heroes. This is my plug for Lead Concepts. Direct mail is a very difficult and time-consuming operation to manage. I chose not to try to do both, and I opted to just focus on the call center business because that was our core business, and it still is. And now if someone calls Lead Heroes and says, Glenn, I want direct mail leads, Chris Weir over at Lead Concepts is the first person that I tell them to call. So I do think you should do both or try both. Again, your mileage may vary. You might find that one's more cost efficient or closes better for you. Figure it out. In general, though, I think a telemarketed lead or some type of telemarketing system where people can be reached compliantly and get that permission to contact, 9 times out of 10, I think your ROI will be higher and your cost of acquisition will be lower. So that's really my I guess final thoughts. I mean, where are we at time wise right now?
About 17 minutes.
17 minutes.
Doing pretty good.
I knocked Chris out in 17 minutes. Holy cow, Chris. Where's your Batman costume, Chris?
Chris is in pretty good shape. Love direct mail. Love Chris Weir. Love Lead Concepts. This is not a video to beat up on direct mail or just more to talk about, have the conversation. I'm a huge advocate for telemarketing. I think the best in the game is Lead Heroes. So you guys should definitely.
I'd like, since we have some time still, I want to bring up an idea that someone said to me at one point. They were going to try, instead of doing direct mail, they were going to do packages. Have you ever heard of this?
No. Unpack this for me.
So like the typical direct mail right now, you're getting a flyer or a letter, super generic, right? But it's cost effective because you're printing the mail and you're sending it out. It's like 30 cents a piece. This marketer I came across at one point, he was saying he wanted to start doing packages. So you're spending several dollars, but your chance of getting a response is higher because they're getting a package in the mail from a rant. Like, imagine if you pulled a list of all the seniors within like a mile of your office and you just sent them like, I don't know, a Valentine's package. And you're like, hey, thinking of you. Here's some chocolates. Love Christian. And they're like, oh, this is super cool. I should call Christian. You know, like that was the idea that he had. I'm curious how that would work if you sent something big like a piece of mail.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not the exact same thing, but I think companies that do a lot of like seminar direct mail, right? They don't do the exact same approach, but they use a much bigger mail piece, right? It's like a folded out piece. It costs much more to print, much more to mail, but the results are so much greater. So it's not the exact same thing. This is taking it to an even higher extreme than that. I think you'd probably have great results. It's just, I don't know if it'd be profitable because of how much it would cost to send it. I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
Right.
It'd probably be like, what do you think something like that would cost? Like $3, $4 per?
It totally depends. I mean, just the increase in in the shipping cost would be probably $3, $4, $5. Then whatever you're putting in the package, that cost is going up. I mean, you might see your cost go from 30, 40 cents, 50 cents per unit to, it could go 10x. You're spending $5 to hit a random stranger that they might not even live there. You might have bad data, and you're spending that type of money. So I don't know. It stuck with me though, because just this idea that if I send you a package, right, the psychology behind, if I send Christian a package, there's a higher chance he'll call me versus if I just send him a piece of mail. I thought that was
that's interesting. That's interesting. Maybe one of these days, if I have like $5,000 I don't need, I'll give it a shot.
There you go, guys. Stay tuned. Christian's that'll be on his YouTube channel. He's just gonna be like, I shipped 1,000 packages.
If I was gonna try something experimental like that and it got me a viral video, I would drop $5,000 on it. If I just knew it's like, okay, this might flop, but you'll get a viral video either way. I'm like, give it to me. Let's do it.
I mean, it would be interesting because the comparison, $5,000 in direct mail is like, what is that? 20,000 pieces of mail? How many? So, 20,000 pieces of mail versus 1,000 packages. I don't know. I don't know how the numbers would stack on. It'd be an interesting experiment.
Final thoughts on this, because we just passed the 21-minute mark.
We did it. We got to 20 minutes. You guys, diversification is key. Like I said, in my book, How to Qualify, Present, and Sell Medicare and Final Expense to Seniors, even after tearing apart 7 different ways of marketing yourself as an insurance agent, including specifically highlighting the top 2, which was telemarketing and direct mail, the conclusion that I came to in 2016 is the same thing that I'm going to tell you right now, is diversification is king. Figure out what's best for you. If you have a system that works, that's profitable, you're getting a consistent ROI, you're making consistent profit, double down, triple down, and keep putting that money in the machine. Because if that marketing machine, you put $1 in and you get $2, $3, $4, $5 back, there's no reason to not just keep stuffing that marketing machine as much as you can until that ROI stops working for you. So that is my final thoughts on today's telemarketing versus direct mail episode. Christian, final thoughts. Tell us what you think.
As Glenn said, I'm a big fan of diversification. I've always told agents I think you need 5 good ways, good lead flows, like at least when you're new. Some of those might cost time, some of those might cost money. And when you're new, that balance is gonna be like, I'm a big fan of direct mail as a part of it, right? And I think direct mail can still work really well. I think you just need to have a more creative approach than maybe you did 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think you can just drop a generic piece that, is plain and expect to get the same results, but doesn't mean you can't get the same results. And so I think you just need to get more creative. Of course, I'm a huge fan of telemarketing, whether you're using Lead Heroes or whether you're trying to hire your own. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck with that. Christian, no, do that. Christian, hire out. Buy Lead Hero leads. No, but yeah, guys, I think it's great to have a diversity, and it's great to kind of try different approaches and kind of see which ones are going to work the best for you. You might be in a market that is very rural, and maybe direct mail still pulls great for you. And maybe you get higher percentage response rates than maybe what we're talking about on this. So, there is no blanket statement of any of this stuff. And of course, if anytime you're going to do direct mail, there's no one in the business you want to use more than Lead Concepts.
Amen.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, 5-star review, all at the same time. If you watch these videos this far and you don't hit the like button, you're basically like dropping a bag full of poop on fire on my doorstep. That's more or less what you're doing.
Yes.
I don't appreciate it. You're throwing toilet paper in my trees. at night, hit the like button.
Stop vandalizing. Until next time, you guys.
Later, guys.